Yeah. So in this session, I want to start from the basics, and then I want to get into uh, the actual tools that I use, or uh, so to say, the format of the email that I use. What drives and what is good, what is not good. So I'll give you some of these checklists here, but I want to start from the very basics here, and we'll have questions at the end. So yeah, demand generation for early stage startups. One funny thing is there was a survey that was done in which uh, it's a survey done asking the founders that what keeps them up in the night. So disproportionately high, if you look at this survey, so there are 76% of the founders that said GTM is the biggest thing that they are anxious about typically. So this is across all stages of startup, and particularly it will be very difficult for early stage founders. I commend you if you are starting your own startup, because it's not so easy, because you have too many messages that you would want to test, too many channels that you would want to test, and you have too many target segments. You Before you narrow down on one target segment, one message, and one positioning, so all the experiment will take up most of your brain space, and we can be methodical about it. So that is what we'll be learning in the next slides. So yeah, let's start from the basics here. Like what defines my marketing strategy. So essentially there are three pillars, three drivers that should define your marketing strategy. So we start with product marketing research, understanding who your customer is, or who your ICP is. Number two, it's about who are you positioning against, or who are the competitors in the space. What is the ecosystem looks like, how competitive is the space, or is it a new category, or the category that you decide to play in. So understanding all that from the market side and the customer side, that should be a key input into your marketing strategy. The second one is the GTM motion. Like, do you want do you want to be do you want it to be a self-serve motion like a PLG, or do you want it to be a sales-led motion, which where the cycles are a little longer, or you just want it to be hybrid where you serve both, the enterprise level customers as well as the small customers. So that should be a very important factor when you're deciding your GTM motion for your company. And finally, the third one, the marketing advantages, which is more like the USPs of the product. Like for example, here we have three. I'll give you a brief about this, wherein, for example, product dynamics. So you have a product which is significantly better than other players, like other players in the space. Like, you save you definitely save 50% of the money that people are spending on the product today. That is a significant advantage that you need to consider this as an input for all your marketing. You have a 10x better product, for example. you know so inherently your product is better. That becomes a part of your marketing. Everything that you do, every communication that you're putting out in your in your marketing. So that's how your product dynamics become super important, understanding your product in terms of the advantages that inherently it has. So that is one part of it. The second part is understanding the market advantages. Like for example, today the AI has amazing traction in the market. So is your product AI product? So if it is an AI product, you can use the wave that is happening already, right? So that is one part of it. Or if ecosystem is something like you have built a product specifically for Shopify, for example, or HubSpot, understanding where your product or the ecosystem that it thrives in would be a great factor, and would be a great advantage for you, because you are halfway there already, because you exactly know whom you want to target, right? So that could be a great advantage for you, and you don't have to waste so many of your resources finding out where they live, what they do, and things like that. You clearly have signal there. And the third marketing advantage is more like a brand. Like it could be a founder brand, or it could be, like for example, your founder has spent 10 years in the space, and he or she knows completely about the space, and you can build a brand around it, or they are well known in the industry. So that becomes your a key input in your marketing strategy. Like for example, Ruben has a good presence on LinkedIn, and he has he's known in product space, for example. The startup that Ruben will have a face that is Ruben, and that would be a part of your marketing strategy. You need to have that input in your marketing strategy. Same is the case with content. Sometimes you have a software or you have a product that gives you that gives amazing research reports, for example. That becomes a part of your content strategy or a marketing strategy as a whole. So you need to understand what, as a product, what are the advantages that you have, like community, for example. You built a product just for Node.js developers, for you know so you exactly know where you want to do marketing. So understanding what are the advantages you have as a company would significantly accelerate your journey here, and you can be a lot more without wasting too much time and other resources. You can be way ahead of it. So these are the three things that drive your marketing strategy. And let's understand, uh, this is more like an example. Like, for example, I know that this is for outbound meetings. This session is for outbound meetings. But if this is how you evaluate, whether that channel is right for you or not. So if you look at SEO, so do I really want to do SEO at this stage as an early stage company, because it involves a lot of resources, right? So understand that, any channel that you pick or any message that you pick should be yes from all the three boxes, three drivers. Like, for example, it should be aligning with what you have identified in your product marketing research. It should fit your GTM strategy. It should fit with your marketing advantages. Like, for example, SEO. So if it is SaaS, and people are searching for it organically, then it might be a good idea to invest in SEO, not just because some other company is doing. So your target customers are searching for it. That is what you have validated in your product marketing research. And then your GTM motion is also like, it's hybrid or sales led. So then SEO could be a great channel to build trust. you know and then you have an marketing advantage where people are seeking content or resources in your space. So similarly for outbound, so we need to make sure that it is an S from all the three key drivers of your strategy. Like, you are targeting at least mid market or enterprise level customers, because if you are doing outbound for small customers, unless you're doing it for gathering feedback or validating the concept, I'm not sure it'll be a great channel for you, because it is resource intensive. You would rather do things that align more with your target segment. So if your target segment is mid market or enterprise level customers, then outbound could be a very good channel for you. Then and if you have some valuable resources that you could share in emails, it could be a very good channel for you. So this is more like a template where you can evaluate all the channels, and you can do this. Is more like a DIY exercise that you can do and see, hey, my startup is this and it has this marketing advantages. I have a sales led motion, and I know my target segment. So does it really fit? Does this channel really fit with my target audience, my advantages, and my GTM motion? So you need to do this exercise, and you can come up with your own channels that you would want to explore. Then, if we keep it, in uh, if we summarize this is how typically it would look like. Like, for example, if you have this is how a typical growth engine would look like for a company that has free offerings. Like, for example, you are like Notion or any product where you have free offerings or a free plan. So then you have an opportunity to also be viral, right? So then, ideally, if you're not targeting enterprise level customers, then you should not do outbound. Honestly, you should just rely on inbound. You should do SEO, you should do search engine marketing, because there is already enough traction. There are already enough people who are searching for that product, right? So you would want to cash on those leads. So if you're starting a new category, it is honestly one of the most difficult things to do as a startup, to build a new category, because it involves so many resources, and you need to have great amount of funding to build a new category and build that traction in the market. So essentially, if you're building a new category, you can be sure that nobody is searching for your product, because they don't know. You're starting from scratch. So investing in inbound might not be a great idea. So that's the reason why you need to start investing in marketing channels that will drive, that will evangelize about your product. That's the reason why you do events or you do ecosystem, like you make a ton of partnerships and you have all these partners to evangelize about your product, about the problem that you're solving. So, and then you have outbound, when there is some engagement happening in first two, then it will be a great idea to reach out to them with a solution. So you will be evangelizing the problem on multiple fronts here. So for example, if you are building a vertical SaaS product, so that is when there is already a set industry and your product does something better. This is most ideal for doing outbound programs. Like you are not setting up a new category, or it is a point solution relatively, and then you exactly know who you're going after, you know what your advantages are. So that is when you can use outbound to your advantage in the best way possible. Yeah. So now that we we have understood about, how do we know whether outbound is good for me or not. So imagine that outbound is a great channel for you, and now this is how typical outbound would look like. You have lists that you either have downloaded from Apollo or LinkedIn, or the other signal based systems that I will get into in a minute. And then you have that lead flowing into an enrichment service where you will find the emails or phone numbers, and then you have that lead fed to an email sending solution or a calling solution like Orem, or your LinkedIn Sales Navigator campaigns for that matter, right? So you have three different platforms on which you can reach out to people, and then when the meeting is booked, you have Calendly, pre-flows, and this is like a generic campaign structure that this is how the flow would be. Now, so in 2025, yeah, yeah. So this is how it has changed. Like in 2020, you have a company domain, you have HubSpot or Outreach or Salesforce, and you used to send to hundreds of contacts, and you used to get email, the meetings booked. But now the thing in 2020, it changed from 2020 to 2023, wherein you don't want to use your primary domain. You will have hundreds of subdomains. Like mm, mm, for example, Getware. So getware.com is the primary domain, and you have multiple subdomains like use Getware, or try Getware, or so there are multiple subdomains that you can use to send these emails, so that when someone marks your email as spam for that, you know your primary domain will not have any impact. Like if you're using getware.com, and if five people mark you as spam, then any email that you send, any business email that you send will automatically land in spam, because someone has marked, uh, you know, emails from this domain as spam. So all of your emails will get impacted. So that's the reason why it is so much important that you need to have your own subdomains, which doesn't impact your company domain. Okay, so that's step number one. And then you have your own. There are multiple tools now. So my favorite ones are Instantly and Hypertide. So you just get the domains and you set all your emails, like at least 2 to 3 emails every domain. So you have 10 domains, you have 30 emails, and you warm them up for 2 weeks, and then you send 20 to 30 emails, from each email, not more than that. And even if we do one top three things, you should have a deliverability rate of at least 60% there. You'll not land in spam. And if you are landing, if you're not seeing results, it would be a good idea to test how good your domain is from this link. Like, there's a free link, you can try it anytime. So you just send an email to this link. So there are details on this link, so it'll tell you exactly how many times are you landing in inbox, how many times are you landing in spam, and how is it varying from a Gmail server to a Microsoft server. So it'll tell you all those additional details that you would want to know. So, and apart from that, now we are also getting into dynamic scripts. So dynamic scripts are nothing but AI writing that email. So it's not a same email. Rather, the content is same, but you're trying different variations. Like you're using different synonyms or different language. So AI is writing the same into 100 different variations and making sure that it's the same. So that way, Google or Microsoft will never catch like it is not a standard email that is being sent to hundreds of people and just spamming. So that's how much it has changed now. So yeah, if we start with very basics on list building. So you have so typically when we start with lists, we have very broad uh, filters like revenue or industry or location. So it's good, but so this could be a good starting point, but you need to qualify your time. You don't want to send emails to all the 10,000 people that you have found on Apollo or 10,000 people that you have found on Sales Navigator. So you would want to filter them out. And today we have tools like Clay or ChatGPT. Use ChatGPT to qualify those lists and have a criteria that could be super subjective. You don't want to reach out to, for example, if you want to reach out to people who who is a growing company, right? So for example, if you want to only reach out to companies that are doing amazingly well, like they're growing very fast. So one proxy for it would be look at the headcount in LinkedIn. So they'll show you a graph. It's free. So use that to reach out to if you have to reach out to high fast growing companies. So you can get all the SaaS companies in New York, for example, and then in from those companies you want to exclude all the companies that are stagnant or that don't fit in the criteria, and you only want to reach out to high paced companies. So it makes your things it makes your emails a lot more personalized, and it makes it much more relevant than reaching out to all the 10,000 people. And honestly, reaching out to 10,000 people or 20,000 people, these mass lists can actually impact your spam rates also. So you would want to be more and more relevant. So that's the reason why you the tip number one is to always make sure that you're qualifying your time list. You're not using it as it is that you get from Sales Navigator or Apollo. So that's one. Then number two is build a lookalike companies. Like that your ideal prospect is, like, for example, getware.com. So you give three or four options to tools like Ocean. So it'll build similar companies very easily. So you don't have to apply all those filters. So you can easily blow it up to 1,000 companies which are similar to Getware. So you can always do that. So use those kind of tools. Then finally, this is going to be the future of a GTM, where you have signals. So you want to use signals, like, for example, you want to reach out to people only when they visited your website, or you want to reach out to people who are interacting with your content on LinkedIn or your competitors' content on LinkedIn, because you already know that they are in the space and they understand what you're talking about. Or you want to reach out to people who have attended a specific conference, or you want to reach out. So you can build your own signals for the company that is relevant for you, and there are tools today that could help you build these lists. So unlike the traditional way of building lists, you just want to reach out to people who are present at Shop Talk or NRF, for example, recently. So you want to reach out to only 2,000 people and talk to them about it. So these kind of lists will give you a lot more return on investment than reaching out to a generic list of 10,000 people, right? So so identify the signals that are relevant for you. You can go from there, and these are the tools that I would recommend in 2025. Like initial is you use Apollo, LinkedIn, Ocean. Store leads if you are into e-commerce. Then lead enrichment, qualification, personalization in Clay. Then for signals, you can do RB2B or Common Room, Unify, Breakcode. These are different tools that you can use for identifying signals. Then cold email infrastructure. Instantly, I recommend, but there are other tools also like Smart Lead. Uh, yeah, so there are multiple tools, but I recommend instantly. Then outbound call infrastructure. So always complement your emails with either calls or LinkedIn outreach, so that it directly doubles or triples your response rate of booking meetings. So don't just rely on emails, because you have the list now. So it is super easy for you to find their LinkedIn profiles, reach out to them on LinkedIn, or you today everyone's phone number is available now. So it doesn't matter who you want to reach out to, bro. It's easily available. It only costs maybe 5 cents, 10 cents, 20 cents maybe. So it's easy now. So use these tools like Concert, Orem, Nooks. So they're very. If you are an early stage company, I would strongly recommend you to use this cold calling tools, because you don't want to type in every time and call them. So these tools will make you can just dedicate 1 hour of your time for cold calling. So that gives you a lot better feedback also parallelly. So yeah, so these are some of the copywriting mistakes that you see, like writing long emails, or using spam words like free, or no doubt that they'll attract, but they are considered as spam words. If you're using in your cold emails, if you're using it in your first email, rest assured that it'll be landing in spam for sure. If you're using any links, for example, like you want to include your website address, so refrain from using any kind of links or any kind of URLs in your cold emails, at least for 1 2 emails. Then probably in third email, yeah, you can use, but not in first 2 emails. And the other one is, don't track your open rates, uh, open rates, or what is it, reply rates, because every time you want to track them, so they are always accompanied with an URL. So again, any email that has URL, it will be there are higher chances that it might be blocked as spam. So using softer CTAs is a great way to go. Instead of directly asking for a meeting, show them the value. Like I'll tell you how the offer should look like in the next slide, but use softer CTAs. And yeah, make sure that these emails are relevant for the people that you're reaching out to. So today we focus a lot on personalization, but making sure that it is relevant is more important than personalizing the email. And how do you make it relevant is by using qualifying your TAM and identifying only the set of people that are most relevant to you. Then we have, yeah, this is more like a fail-proof structure that I use for cold emails. The first sentence, you're telling them why you're reaching out and why you're reaching out now. So the second sentence is about, what you can do for them. The third sentence is about, is there anyone who are similar to them that you have helped? Please include that in your third sentence. And the fourth sentence is the CTA, the offer. So this is more or less, if you want to get started, and if you don't want to tweak so much, this is a fail-proof structure that you can use it ready-made. Then yeah, so this is what I believe. An offer is the most important part of the cold email. Like, so typically any offer would can be categorized into these three. Like, it saves time, it saves money, it makes more money, or it improves health, or it increases your status. So out of these five, you need to figure out what your offer would be, and try reframing your offer in such a way that, like, for example, you have two examples right in front of you. So which one do you want to respond to? More likely the second one, right? So try reframing your offers. Your email is perfect, you're reaching out to right people, but if your offer is too too generic, then probably they'll not respond to you. So if you are doing optimization, optimize your offer more than your rest part of your email. So then finally we have, these are some examples that I can, how I would send emails. Then we have sample email and a follow-up email. I'm sure that this deck will be shared with you, so you can look into it. That's more like what I had to share. So I would love to answer any questions that you might have.